Hello! Hi! And welcome back to our blind read-through of Saya no Uta, the Song of Saya. When we were last together, a whole lot of information started to come tumbling right on out. We learned a bit about the nature of Saya and Fuminori's relationship. We learned how they, I guess, met, which was kind of while he was in the hospital going through his big ordeal. She just kind of appeared and was the first thing that seemed normal to him his whole time being there, from waking up from the experimental procedure. And then from there, we had the big blow up with Yo, and he told her to fuck off and then pissed on her grave. And then Omi was like, I'm gonna go over to his house and I'm gonna teach him a lesson. And I have a very good feeling about what's going to happen. I'm sure that they're going to talk it out. It's gonna be a-okay. Things are gonna be fine and dandy. Omi and Fuminori and Saya, they're gonna all sit down and have a nice, comfy chat together. So, why keep you waiting any longer? Why keep you in any more suspense? Let's play the damn video game. Hello, video game. Please activate. This is weird sometimes. Sometimes this game is very wonky about activating. Damn it! There we go. Okay. I'm not sure why it does that. Anyway. Here we go. We're jumping right back into the heat of things. Back to Gross Town. Moved by some irrational compulsion, Omi sets foot into the den. It's too dark to see anything, and the stink is far worse than before. She slides her hand along the wall, feeling for the light switch, finding it much sooner than she expected. She flips it on like it's her last hope. Here we go! Oh! Oh, okay. Look at all this. This looks like like Sayara would live in this place. I could see that. Colors. Colors. So many colors. The purple of entrails, the brown of rotten meat, the crimson of flesh and blood, the yellow of fat. These colors and more that cannot be described cover every inch of the room in maddening array. The colors say all that needs to be said about the painter's hatred, malice, and insanity. Omi's legs give out in shock, sending her to the floor. Slime immediately soaks through her jeans, its cold tendrils creeping up her legs, crotch, and uh-oh! Her neck. Oh, that's music that you play when you know something good is about to happen. Oh boy! Her hand flies to her neck, where it is greeted by another drop of chilly slime. Above her, something is dripping down on her head. Making perhaps the worst decision of her life, Omi looks up. The predator clinging to the ceiling, posed to leap upon its prey. She sees it in every detail. Her mouth and nose are sealed before she can scream, and her belly is torn open as something enters to feast on her inner... Wow! That was just sudden and done. Goodbye, Omi. Holy shit! But by the time she feels any of this, Omi has already gone mad. I bit the bullet and tried to take the train, but the rush hour crowds were so bad that I had to get off halfway and walk. I'm running pretty late. Is Saya worried? I hope she's not mad. Nah, I think she's fine. I think she's probably nicely fed, probably feeling nice and happy. Oh boy. When I enter the yard, I realize that the front door has been left wide open. Light from the living room is seeping out of the hallway, and I hear what sounds like someone smacking their lips. There's also a tantalizing fragrance in the air. Is it Saya? I consider calling out to her, but decide to enter in silence instead. Something smells strange, though not unpleasant. The aroma is quite soothing, in fact. It reminds me of Saya's hair. That's probably a really good sign of things. Looking at things from the way that we're seeing them, oh boy. At first, I am surprised by what I see in the living room. The floor is covered with what looks like some kind of grass, probably the source of the herb-like smell, and there are fruit or vegetable-like balls in varying sizes scattered everywhere.
Saya.
Hi, Saya. You having fun over there? You having a good time? You okay? Can I get you a Coke? Dr. Pepper? Strawberries and cream? It's really good. Saya turns around, her eyes wide with surprise. She then looks away sheepishly like a child caught in some prank.
何を食べてるんだい?
What you eating?
これはその
This is, well, she stammers, so flustered that I suddenly feel bad for sneaking up on her. Remembering she has never eaten in front of me before, I realize that she must be quite embarrassed.
一ついいかな?
No! I scoop up the closest fruit thing and pop it into my mouth, ignoring Saya's attempt to wave me off. It has a strange texture, soft and pliable, like a peach or a pear. When I bite into it with my back teeth, a succulent juice fills my mouth, combined with a sharp, strong fragrance. It's unlike anything I've ever tasted.
何か味付けとか調理してあるのかこれ?
I think that they're ingredients you would be very familiar with.
調理ってほどのことはさばいてからちょっと溶かして食べやすく
It's
しただけで
practically raw!
ほとんど生なんだけど
Oh, Lord. Man, I feel sorry for the people that didn't bail it. Like, you did not take... If you did not heed my warnings... Because even I wasn't sure what this game had going for it. But now, oh boy. Okay. I see what you're doing. I see where we're at. I pick up a different lump, this one consisting of a fruity flesh around the hard core. Tearing a chunk off in my mouth, I find that it has a similar taste to the last one.
ねえ大丈夫それって
僕でも食べられる味だ.
Oh yeah, I should have figured that this would be, I should have figured that he would see Omi's dead body as like something pleasant, and that when he went to taste it, it would be something nice because it would obviously be something really gross otherwise. Oh, that's lovely.
そうなの
At first, Saya looks dumbstruck, but then she bursts out laughing.
そうなんだふみのりもこういうのが好きだったんだ
Yeah, it's fine.
あれこれ工夫して頑張ってた私がバカみたい
Now we can just eat together like a normal, like a very normal family.
さやっていつもこういうものを食べてたのか?
Yeah, I bet it is.
こんな大物は久しぶりだけどね近所の公園とかで取ってくれるやつ
There's an impressive nature preserve not too far from here. I've never heard about fruits like these growing there, but, well, of course, they only look like fruits to me. They're really something else.
ごめんね一番美味しいところはさっきさやが全部食べちゃった
いいよ、また今度で。でもこれで、明日から
Hooray!
一緒に食事ができるね。
Now we can eat together. It's a happy ending, actually. Saya seems really happy. I'm happy too, of course. Eating with someone is much more fun than eating alone, and it makes the food taste better too.
まだまだいっぱいあるし食べきれない分は冷やせば 2,3 日は大丈夫だよちょっと味は落ちるんだけどね
じゃあ、早めに片付けておこうか。
Sealing the small fruits in Tupperware and the large ones in pots and bowls, Saya and I store the remaining food in the refrigerator. Thinking of tomorrow's dinner fills me with anticipation. I feel that little by little, I'm starting to regain the joy of living. Saya will guide me. With her, I can live on. Well. True Scary Stories, Hospital Edition. Chapter 4, The Monster in the University Hospital. A research student relates his shocking experience at Tokyo's most prestigious hospital. Will you believe him or not? Strange things started happening at the hospital around the end of last spring. It began with patients waking up in the middle of the night screaming. They all spoke of terrifying nightmares, and many of them had to be sedated. Some patients even transferred to other hospitals because of it. The weird thing was that they had all had exactly the same dream. A dream about some horribly disgusting monsters staring down at them from their bedside. But the really strange stuff started happening after that. There used to be a lot of stray cats around the campus, looking for scraps from the students. One day, the cats suddenly disappeared, and it wasn't that they'd stopped coming, it was more that they'd vanished from the area entirely. And then people stopped walking their dogs around. According to rumors, the dogs were refusing to go anywhere near the school. Eventually, things started going missing in the hospital. Organs, to be precise. Transplant organs kept disappearing from storage. Some people came close to losing their jobs over it. And it wasn't just 2 or 3 times that it happened. They tried to keep it from the research students, but we heard that it was a lot worse than that. Our girl's been busy! People started saying that there was something living in the hospital. The janitors would find strange messes that could only have been made in the middle of the night, traces of something that had crawled down the hallway, or weird stains that seemed to be caused by something dripping through the ceiling. The late shift nurses talked about hearing strange noises on the same nights the patients woke screaming. There's one last story you can never mention outside the hospital. One day, the obstetrics department went crazy. They said it was a newborn baby disappeared in the night. If that were true, the police would have come, and it would have been all over the news, but they say the big shots managed to make it all go away. It's just a rumor, of course. These strange incidents suddenly stopped toward the end of summer. Now there are almost no patients complaining of nightmares, and the cats have started coming back to campus. But still, what happened in the hospital that summer, even now, just thinking about it gives me the creeps. Oh no, this is not good.
電波の届かない場所にあるか、電源が入っていないためかかりません。
ダメだ。
Yep. This is the 3rd day in a row that they haven't been able to get in touch with Omi. There's no sign that she returned to her apartment, and even her family doesn't know anything. Her parents have already filed a missing persons report.
まあ、あいつのことだからな。何事もなかったみたいにひょっこり顔出しそうな気もするんだが。
だといいけど。
I hope so, Yo replies with a gloomy expression. She's worried about Omi, of course, but the incident with Fuminori 3 days ago must still be weighing on her mind as well. Yo hasn't seen Fuminori since then, and Fuminori hasn't made any effort to approach her or Koji. 4 people used to meet in this cafeteria between classes, but now there's only 2.
ねえ、トノくん、もう一度考えてみようよ。どこかオウミちゃんの行きそうな場所に心当たりない？
いや、一通りは確かめたしな。
No, Koji answered evasively. I already checked everywhere. It's a lie, of course. Koji knows where Omi planned to go that evening, but he doesn't want to bring Fuminori up in front of Yo. Their awkward silence is mercifully broken by the bell signaling the start of next period.
じゃあ、俺行くわ。
If Koji isn't mistaken, Yo is supposed to have next class period too. But she just sits there staring off into space. Unable to come up with anything to say, he leaves the cafeteria reluctantly. Both Omi's disappearance and Yo's depression worry Koji, and both problems lead back to the exact same place.
緑は一体。
Oh, are you gonna go over? Are you gonna go over to Meat Town and have a look too? Got a feeling that's probably about where we're headed. Oh boy. Koji. When Omi went missing, the first thing he did was question Fuminori. After all, the last he'd seen her was just before she stormed off to give Fuminori a piece of her mind. Okay. The first thing he did was question it. All right. Fuminori responded that with unequivocal denial and acted like he hadn't had the slightest idea why Omi would have gone to see him. Perhaps that was only natural, as he was unaware that Omi and Koji had witnessed him reduce Yo to tears. Did Omi even make it to Fuminori's house? She had been riding a wave of emotion when she left and might have calmed down and changed her mind halfway there. But that she would have fucking contacted you, my guy. Or perhaps she ran into trouble on the way. Koji concluded, or more accurately convinced himself, that one of three possibilities was the truth, subconsciously denying the one remaining possibility, that Fuminori was lying. That he had met Omi, that he had met Omi and was involved with her disappearance. Well, he's not lying is the thing, because he does not know that he was in a position to meet Omi, let's just say. When questioned by the police, Koji told the truth about Omi's destination, only up to the train station, maintaining that he had no idea where she'd planned to go after that. He wanted to cooperate with the search, of course, but Omi couldn't have made it to Fuminori's house. Fuminori said himself, didn't he? In that case, he told the police everything they needed to know. Not wanting to get the still fragile Fuminori involved, he forced himself to accept this flimsy logic. But the conflict has built up inside him without his notice, leaving unanswered suspicion to fester in his mind. Koji is deep in thought, paying no attention to his surroundings, but perhaps that is what allows him to catch sight of his friend's back through the crowd milling students.
Fuminori?
At first, Koji assumes that he's headed to the lecture hall, but it soon appears that he is instead going home. Strange. Medical students have required classes in the afternoon. Though he is initially surprised, Koji's hesitation lasts only for a second. He follows his friend, taking care to stay far enough behind that he won't be noticed. Fuminori wasn't going home, as became obvious when he boarded a train heading the opposite direction. Koji's next guess was that he was going to see the doctor at T University Hospital, but Fuminori rode straight through the closest station. Straight through the closest station. At first, Koji felt ashamed for tailing his friend like this, but his conscience fell silent as Fuminori's actions grew more mysterious. The stranger it gets, the closer Koji feels to discovering the truth behind Fuminori's sudden transformation. Any knowledge would be welcome, no matter how slight. Even Koji is beginning to think that there must be more behind Fuminori's change than the accident alone. He wants a more satisfying answer, one that will help him decide whether Fuminori can still be trusted. Fuminori gets off at a small station in a nondescript suburb of Tokyo. Koji follows, trying not to lose sight of him amid the other disembarking passengers. The area is quite desolate, with only a small bookstore, a convenience store, and a market in front of the train station. It's easy for Koji to keep Fuminori in view. The neighborhood was carved out of the Fuji foothills, and here and there remain steep inclines and wooded areas that escaped assimilation. Koji is amazed that such a quiet place exists less than an hour out of central Tokyo. Fuminori seems to know these streets. He moves quickly and purposefully through the suburban community, his eyes fixed straight ahead. Before long, Fuminori reaches a house. Without ringing the bell or even knocking, he opens the door and vanishes inside, leaving Koji to wonder how Fuminori can treat the house as his own. After watching to see if Fuminori comes back out, Koji approaches the gate and checks the nameplate. Oh! Okay. We're gonna go check on this guy. Alright. Koji's never heard of anyone by that name among Fuminori's acquaintances. Next, his attention is drawn to the thick wad of leaflets sticking out of the mail slot. This, coupled with the general dilapidated feel of the place, suggests it has been abandoned for some time. A small playground about 2 blocks away provides an adequate vantage point from which to watch the front gate of the Ogai home. Fortunately, it does not appear to be the sort of house that has a rear exit. Koji settles down on a bench to begin his stakeout. I should have brought more smokes. 1 hour passes, then another, but there remains no sign of movement around the Ogai residence. Soon, twilight settles upon the neighborhood. After Koji's 1 pack of cigarettes runs out, stakeout becomes a battle against mounting impatience. He kills time by redialing Omi on his cell and sending her short text messages, but his efforts are futile, as he knew they would be. When the sky begins to turn deep blue and the streetlights come on, Fuminori finally emerges from the house and heads back towards the station with the same hurried stride. After some brief consideration, Koji decides that right now, investigating the house is more important than tailing Fuminori. Oh, okay. Hopefully we'll start getting some detail on what's going on here through Koji's eyes, because obviously we're not going to be getting to see that much through Fuminori's eyes, I don't imagine. He rings the doorbell just to make sure. After receiving the expected silence in response, he checks to make sure no one is watching and turns the doorknob. The door is not locked. The moment he enters the house, stale air, thick with mold and dust, fills Koji's nostrils. It is the unmistakable smell of a house that has long lain untouched. There is also the faint hint of something else in the air, something reminiscent of damp sewers and fetid cisterns. Flipping the light switch does nothing. The power must be cut off. Koji uses his cigarette lighter to illuminate the immediate area. In the thick dust covering the floor, he sees several brand new trails of footprints that could only have been made by shoes, Fuminori's. Koji decides to follow suit and dispense with the courtesy. He enters with his shoes on. That's probably a smart idea. The last person that went into a house unannounced without shoes, she didn't end up in such a good spot. You might say she ended up in the belly of the beast. The lighter's flickering flame pushes back the deathly silence and gloom of the house. Koji is surprised to see evidence of life remaining. Everything from furniture to tableware and appliances. Nothing seems to be missing. The thickness of the dust suggests that the house has been empty for several months, which means that the owner must have left with a little more than the clothes on his back. Could he have gone on a long vacation? The calendar in the den is still turned to April. Empty and silent, yet still exhibiting signs of life that once lived there, the house reminds Koji of a passenger ship entombed at the bottom of the sea. In the graveyard-like quiet, a sinister thought suddenly enters his mind. No one is living here. But that does not have to mean that the owner left. Maybe he was murdered, and his rotting corpse is right under Koji's feet. He finds himself wanting a stronger light. A flashlight in his hand would make him feel much better. Koji follows Fuminori's footsteps to the second floor, where he begins to catch the scent of paper and stale air. It is the smell of old books, instantly recognizable to anyone who has worked in an antique store or library. The first room on the second floor turns out to be a study. Its towering shelves packed with such a vast number of books that Koji fears for the stability of the floor. As a medical student himself, he is able to discern at a glance that the study belongs to a medical professional, and a high-level one at that. Judging by the content of the books, a smorgasbord of technical volumes far beyond a simple student's understanding, the owner's interests lie more with medical research than with clinical practice. Fuminori must have spent most of his time here. The scattered dust suggests that he was searching for something, and the contents of the desk drawers are in obvious disarray. A small pile of books stacked on the side table catches his eye. Being next to the desk, they must have been the most frequently read. Their nature could shed some light on the character of the person who worked here. Koji frowns as he examines the 3 books. They aren't scientific texts like the rest, but old leather-bound Western tomes, like the sort you would find in a rare bookstore. The titles are meaningless to him. Yep, I can't read that. Appears to concern semiotics, but Ars Magna and Ultima is some kind of treatise on divination. And then there's Voyage Manuscript, which looks like some sort of picture book. Then he pages through it and he finds text utterly incomprehensible. Maybe it's some kind of cipher. Whatever they are, they clearly have nothing to do with medicine, refuting Koji's earlier guess that this Ogai was a doctor. Looking down, Koji suddenly notices the glint of something black and metallic underneath the chair. A pocket-sized flashlight, quite out of place among these dusty books. Fuminori must have brought it in. With relief, Koji exchanges his lighter for the flashlight. Its tiny body emits a powerful white beam that casts away the darkness. His courage restored, he decides to explore the rest of the house. Uh-oh. Did our boy stay? Is that what's happening? Give me a second. Okay. Koji notices something strange, something that was not visible in the lighter's weak flame. The slime. Dark, oily stains are everywhere. The stains are especially thick around the doorknobs and stair banisters, like someone's grasped them with hands wrapped in greasy cloth. Looking closer, he sees places where slime was splashed low on the walls, almost as if a wet mop was run violently across the floor. Okay. This is something. Could Okai make these marks? If so, how? Koji begins to feel sick as he imagines a man shambling through the house with slime dripping from his body. Finding the bedroom next to the study, Koji checks the closet on a hunch. He discovers 2 empty suitcases, not what one would leave behind when going on a long vacation. A sudden chill ran through him. Whoever was living here is still somewhere inside the house. That's probably not great. Suppressing the urge to flee, Koji goes back downstairs to check the first floor. If he finds a corpse, he'll have to call the police right away. He might get away with trespassing if he reports it first, but if they find the body later, it'll be awfully hard to explain his fingerprints all over the house. The flashlight reveals the den to be covered in even more slime than the rest of the house. The sofa looks as though it was dredged from the bottom of the swamp. In the kitchen, Koji takes one look at the sink and decides not to get any closer. He doesn't want any more fuel for his imagination. Yeah, this whole damn ordeal is just nightmare fuel at this point. He reaches the door to the bathroom. A common scene from TV dramas flashes through his head, a body with slit wrists floating in a bathtub full of water. And wasn't there a movie where a hitman disposes of his victim in a bathtub filled with lye? Koji braces himself for the worst and opens the door slowly, then shines his light into the ceramic bathtub that appears from the darkness like a white ghost. Nothing? Bones! Oh dear. We got a pillow of your bones! Oh boy. Koji puts one hand against the wall to steady himself as his legs threaten to buckle. Something is wrong, he realizes as he tries to desperately get his thoughts in order. The bones are too small and there are far too many of them. They aren't human. Oh, shit! After taking several deep breaths to calm himself, Koji enters the bathroom and examines the tub. The bones are piled atop of each other like fallen leaves. They appear to be from small animals, perhaps cats and dogs. Even so, the quantity is mind-boggling. How many bodies would it take to produce this many bones? The bones have all been separated from one another, so it doesn't look like the bodies were just thrown in the tub and left to rot. Each bone is covered with deep grooves, marks left by teeth biting through the flesh. Koji's sanity won't let him consider the possibility that a human could have done this. The owner of this house must have kept some sort of carnivorous animal as a pet, giving it the bones of a small animals to eat and disposing of the remains in a bathtub. So why not dispose of the leftovers properly? They could have just been thrown out with the garbage, or was there something keeping him from leaving the house? I think the picture is starting to come together. The relief Koji felt when he realized the bones weren't human is once again under attack. In the first place, what the hell was Fuminori doing here? Oh! 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 Ah! Holy shit! That scared me! Okay. You got me there. Alright. Anyway, we'll find out what's wrong, Koji, the next time we're together. I'm such an asshole. See, I get to play this. I get to just keep playing and record another episode, but you get to wait till tomorrow. Hey, but you got a good 30 minutes anyway, right? It's all right. You'll be fine. Anyway, thanks again for your time. This has been an absolute delight. Tomorrow, I'm pretty sure, is going to be even more exciting. I can't wait. You can't wait. So the sooner I get out of here, the sooner it will be toward tomorrow. Probably not. I don't think that's not how time works, I don't think. At any rate, I hope you have a nice rest of the whatever it is for you, and we'll see you next time